Do you have a nickname for him?
No,
Like,
no.
You don't call him like Franny C?
No, I don't call him Franny C. I call him
Okay.
Mr. Coppola might be the way to go.
Okay. Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where wise guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. I'm here with Joe Mantegna. Joe, you ready to surf?
I'm ready to serve.
Let's see what's on.
All right.
Are you packing heat?
Oh, my.
Oh, my indeed.
One of my first roles, I used my Uncle Willie's voice somewhat, which I relived later, years later, as Fat Tony on The Simpsons.
We're going to get to that.
So my character, Fat Tony, was kind of, I did the warm-up by doing this character. This guy talked like this. And except I gave him more of a Hispanic kind of accent because I was supposed to be from this island called Malagua. There I go.
I'm assuming you weren't a horn player.
No, I was not a horn player.
Okay.
It was not a job requirement for this role. You can see El Puerco.
And what did your Uncle Willie make of your version of him?
Well, Uncle Willie, he loved everything. I mean, he was a character in himself. They could have done a whole TV series on Uncle Willie.
And speaking of real characters, you and Billy Crystal,
That's how I got to know Billy.
you guys bonded over baseball initially?
Baseball, yeah, he's a big Yankee fan. I remember I was invited to Billy's 50th birthday party, and they surprised him. The Yankees surprised him with a ring. And I remember Muhammad Ali was there and spoke on his behalf, which was pretty cool. I thought, oh, this is a pretty cool birthday party. But
Yeah.
Billy's great. I love Billy. But yeah, it started with soap.
All right, let's keep surfing.
Raise, call,
Okay.
or fold.
Oh,
I should raise your ass, but I'm just
yeah,
gonna
so
call.
you should. Go ahead, raise his ass.
What is this marker? Where
Wow,
are you
look,
from?
this is
Where am
before
I
he had
from?
snow on the roof.
I'm from the United States of Kiss My Ass. My marker's...
Best line ever.
I love it. There was a rock group that they took the dialogue from that scene
And sampled
and
it?
sampled it.
Nice.
And so you hear this song playing, and within it you hear me saying these lines. You say, "United States, kiss my ass." I'm like, wow, okay, this is
It's a
kind of
good
cool.
line.
What was fun about this too is most of the guys at that table were real card players, friends of David Mamet, the writer director. So what they would do is at breaks, they would go upstairs and they had the same card table set up and they would play a real game.
Are you
And-
serious?
Yeah, and they'd have the real game going at the same time.
Did you ever jump into the real game?
No.
No?
These guys were serious card players, all of them.
And you mentioned Mamet. You obviously worked with him on Glengarry Glen Ross, won the Tony.
Yeah, many.
Brought you back for this.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
his directorial debut. It must
Yeah.
have been great just re-teaming with somebody who brought you so much success
Oh,
initially.
he's my patron saint. I should put his picture above my bed, you know.
Up next,
Oh, Joey Zaza.
Joey Zaza.
That was pretty awesome. I mean,
Yes, The Godfather,
it
one
was.
of
I
the biggest
remember
franchises in movie
Oh,
history.
Yeah. As my dear friend Vinny Questafero said to me when I got the party, he says, "Hey, man, you're going to be in the Italian Star Wars." There's my dear friend Andy Garcia putting two in my back and a third.
Now, Zaza was a composite of Joe Gallo, Joseph Colombo, and Gotti.
And the name Zaza was actually, Francis, I believe he told me that it was the maiden name of his wife. But you mentioned Gotti. Another scene we shot was right in front of the Ravenite Social Club, which was Gotti's club. And their stunt coordinator came up to me, and he had a couple guys with him, two very large men. And this guy comes up to me and says, "Mr. Mantegna," he goes, "these are two fellows would just like to say hello to you. They're associates of Mr. Gotti." And then one guy says to me, he goes, "We've heard that perhaps your character is somewhat based on Mr. Gotti." Now, when someone says that to you, being who they were,
Right.
I didn't know what the right answer was, you know. So I said, I don't really know. I said it could be somewhat inspired. I said, you can't believe everything you read in the press, though. It's just, and probably loosely based on a lot of different people. But if it's Mr. Gotti, I want to say I'll be doing it with all due respect.
All right, up next.
Is it wrong to steal a truckload of bread to feed them?
Absolutely not. My Uncle Willie actually used to talk like this. I mean, he passed away in his 90s, but I brought him to the set once, and I said, "I want you to meet somebody. Willie, say hello." "Yeah, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you. My name's Willie." You know, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's him."
You know, Hank Azaria recently stepped down from playing Apu because
I heard
critics
that.
said that, the character was trafficking in stereotypes.
Yeah,
Do you think you're immune from that?
I don't know if I'm immune, but I defend that. I'm an Italian American.
Right.
Fat Tony is an Italian American.
Correct.
My feeling is, look, we can take political correctness to a certain point, but beyond that, you got to say to yourself, now wait a minute. How far do we take this sensitivity where you can't even, do you know what I mean?
Would you have liked to have seen Hank Azaria stay and play Apu?
I think that's a different issue
Gotcha.
because I think now you have to talk to the Indian community and say what do they feel about a guy who's not Indian maybe doing it. But you know, there's going to be two sides to everything. But at my age, I'm too old to get in an argument over it, fight over it. It's like, you know, I don't like it, move on.
The kids calling it having 0 Fs to give.
I guess that's okay. Good. Well, hats off to the kids then.
Welcome back to Couch Surfing. I'm still here with Joe Mantegna. Joe, shall we continue?
I'm in. Let's go.
All right.
You stated that you handcuffed
Oh,
Andrew Martin.
there she is.
before
There's my
having
girl.
sex with him.
No, you know, Madonna, we got along really well. We had, prior to this, I forget what year we made this movie, but 1988, we did the play Speed the Plow on Broadway.
That's right.
Some of the things about Broadway, I think, confused her a bit because it was new
It wasn't her
territory for her.
world,
So a lot of times she'd call me at night after rehearsal saying, Joe, what? I didn't get, you know, because sometimes the director would maybe say things to her that she didn't quite, you know. And I tell her, honey, relax, don't worry about it. Just do what you do, you'll be fine. You know, And people say, what was it like working with her? And I don't mean this as a derogatory comment. I says it's like working with Godzilla, not because of her acting ability and not about her personally. It's like working with Godzilla because she was so huge in the whole world. But
But did you ever worry her notoriety, her fame would overshadow either of the projects, the film, the play?
If it did, it did. I mean, on one hand, I think producers love that because it's like, well, we're selling a lot of tickets.
Guaranteed eyeballs.
And on the other hand, there's going to be maybe some artistic kind of like, maybe some imbalance here. You know what I mean? Like in the movie, I think part of the movie, since she ultimately was the villain in the film, I think may have blown it right from the beginning because everybody goes, "Oh, she did it. Of course she had
Of
to.
course
Of course she did it. It was
She's the
Madonna.
femme fatale.
She's her."
Yeah, she
so if it
killed
had
the
been
guy.
maybe a nobody, you might have been played along longer. Like, oh, I wonder, was she guilty? Did she really do the crime?
Up next.
Come on and vote for Kennedy.
Rat Bed. I was being offered another movie at the time. Actually, kind of a movie franchise at the time. They were doing the reboot of The Addams Family. They were going to make a couple of movies, and they wanted me to be Gomez.
I can see that too.
And I was thinking about doing it because it looked like it was going to be a cool thing. But then they offered me this, and I thought, oh, the chance to play Dean Martin. Are you kidding me? As I worked on it, I thought, what's the voice of Dean Martin? What's the best way to get that? And then I started, now you wouldn't remember this because this was something from my childhood, but we had this character from Sugar Crisp commercials, which was the Sugar Bear. And there was a little cartoon bear, and he'd come out and say, who can't get over them Sugar Crisp? Oh, there's the Sugar Bear here. So then I just thought about myself, I want to talk about like Dean. I'm going to be talking like the Sugar Bear, like, can't get over them Sugar Crisp. Oh, how'd all these people get in my room? You know, kind of segue from one thing into the other.
That's perfect.
And that was my key to talking like him, or at least reasonable facsimile.
All right, up next.
Another morning, another trek to the office.
Oh my God, these are my Mercedes commercials.
Right, so you were the voice.
I was the voice of Mercedes-Benz.
For many years.
Yeah, I think about 5 or 6 years.
Did you get a Mercedes?
I did. At the same time, Donald Sutherland was the voice of Volvo.
Right, that's
may remember.
right. Oh my gosh,
So
that's true.
there would be occasions where we would both come to the same recording studio. So I'd see Donald pull up in his like new whatever Volvo. And I'd pull up next to him in my like S500
Yeah.
Benz, you know, big ass car. You know.
Yeah.
And I'd get out of the car, he'd get out of his car, and I'd look at him and I'd say, hey, Donald, nice car. I hear they're safe, you know. And he'd give me that look like, yeah. And then apparently there was I get paid from The Sopranos.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. Okay, we got it. Let's
Okay,
go.
you got it?
Let's
All right,
surf
'cause
there.
I've never seen it. I get like $10 a year for this.
The Mercedes-Benz Coupes and Convertibles.
Earth to Tony.
They're gonna get one of those.
Wow.
Fantastic. See, the only way I found out I was even in this, I got a residual check in the mail, and it said for The Sopranos, and I said, I never did a Sopranos. So that's how they used it. All right, cool.
Up next.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Boy, yeah, this is...
No hard feelings, but
Oh, yeah.
not invited
I
anymore.
think I'm about to tune this guy up. There you go. Okay.
what are you doing?
That's right. Just off camera is my dear friend Vinny Cesari, who is a martial arts instructor. When I read the script, I saw that I wanted to do something to just be able to intimidate this young man, you know, yet without crossing, you know, I don't want to, like, you don't slap him or punch him. I'm an FBI guy.
Right.
But I said, so I called Vinny. I said, Vinny, can you just teach me some little, you know,
Give me a little move.
Gentle tune-up I can do on this guy, where he kind of gets the
a gentle
picture.
tune-up. And after 13 seasons of playing Agent Rossi, you're turning in your badge.
I'm turning in my badge.
Yeah.
You know, everything comes to an end, and I'm just glad it went as long as it did. I've done a pilot for an Amazon series. We'll see how that goes. I may be directing a movie in the spring. A lot of guys my age, most guys are retired. They're like, you know, they're sitting in their backyard, you know, drinking a beer or golfing or something. I'm thinking, no, that's not me.
You're going to work to the bitter end.
I think so.
That's good.
I think so. I like what I do. They say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. So that means I haven't worked much in 50 years.
Amen to
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
You've been awesome.
Thank you. So have you.
Thank you so much for surfing by. The series finale of Criminal Minds airs Wednesday, February 19th on CBS. See you next week on Couch Surfing. Bye.